some fog, but god damn, this is some foggy shit, and it ain't smoke. God damn, do you see this? Can you see through this? Who's ready for some boom, baby? Boom! Rise and shine if you can. They warned me of some fog, but damn, you know, mixing these signals this morning. I'm telling you what, I'm trying to show it off, but goddamn, you can't even see like a foot in front of them. This whole thing is crazy, bro. Yes, blessed. I posted a mushroom because it had a mixed signal. It was like, I'm edible, but it was actually poisonous. I actually Google searched it, but yeah, can't see shit. Wow. It's a morning motivation, y'all, and I didn't smoke it. Let's go. Saints addiction. We out. Cheer. You know what I'm saying? So over here, I pulled a mushroom. I told you it was poisonous, and it was sending me mixed signals. It was like, I'm big, I'm bad, and guess what? I'm also poisonous. Sort of like our addictions, sort of like our hypocrisy as human beings, and sort of like what I've been seeing this morning. Here, I'll show it to you. There's all sorts of little ones here and there. It's there's a couple different ones, but damn, it's kind of spooky. I was up this morning since like 4 a.m. Had to go pee, couldn't fall back asleep, and now I'm the first one up. But yeah, I don't want to touch it, but it's poisonous. The poison, I guess I do have to touch it, but look how big this mushroom is. Poisonous. Yes, it's a poisonous mushroom, and I think there's another one over here somewhere. Gonna have this conversation because us human beings, we like to signal that we are, there it is, more virtuous than we actually are, that we're not as perverted as we actually are, right? All these different little mushrooms around the edge here are all poisonous if you eat them. That's right. Thank you, airplanes, for, I can't even, how are they flying through this? I'll never know. I mean, you can't even see the crane barely. It's such a foggy day, but we like to signal our virtualness or our variety. What's this in the trees? What's all this yellow shit? Is it already fall? See this shit? Can't see shit in here, but look at all this. What is all this? What is all this? It's fall, bro. That's fall, baby. Fall on y'all. Let's have the smoke because it's filled in the sky. So I got friends that'll post they're going to Vegas when it's the first time her baby daddy ever got to see the kid. I was like, what the fuck? We're waiting for dad. Dad hasn't been waiting for you. That's a mixed signal. I got friends talking about their boyfriends injecting in their dick. Apparently he was supposed to have a hickey on his dick and be gay, but he was hiding his addiction the whole time. I see a lot of sober life people posting, I'm sober, but the girl put 40 weeks sober as if she did drugs all the way up till she had her baby, and then showed a picture of the baby. And I thought to myself, how many people have gotten sober because of children? You know, there's all these planes going by. How are they even flying right now? Somewhere out there, you know? And all these lies that we tell, where's the truth happens, I can actually see the mist. There's like particles hanging in the sky. Look at this. I'm a gorilla in the mist. Even had one chick add me on Threads. I said, definitely Saints addiction. And she's like, I'm not an addict. Go share that with some other Karen. I said, why the fuck do you add me then? There's so many people that want to pretend that they're more well put together than they actually are. My brand, Saints Addiction, was to come clean about how high I get, my food, sex, and weed, the addictions that I quit, and not to pretend that I'm a perfect human being, because that's what mostly Saints is. It's got halos on the horns. It's perfectly imperfect, you know? I'm an honest sinner. That's where this whole brand and idea came from. But I had to reach some kind of conclusion or an idea in my life. I would have never reached 17 years of working on this. That's right, somebody congratulated me on LinkedIn after I fought to get back my page, which I got back because I called the chick out for showing her nipples on a business page. Go sell your OnlyFans somewhere else, you know? But this is us, you know, constantly mixing signals. I even watched a porn where the girl was getting fucked while she was interviewing, and she can laugh, joke, do voice impersonations, and eat at the same time of having sex. And I said, I bet that's how a woman's brain works. Like, you think you're pumping your ass off, and she's over there laughing her ass off. Laugh my motherfucking ass off. We are intricate creatures as human beings, where we half the time are striving to be better, and then the other half of the time drilling holes in our canoe and wondering why the cycle continues. It's inevitably on us. The mixed signals won't stop. Your stimuluses aren't going to stop. The impulses aren't going to stop. But the way you respond can stop. To stop a cycle from being poisonous, from continuing into a negative direction and going in a different trajectory is hard to do. You know, it took me 17 years to do this. And even now, I still want to sell $10,000 a month in revenue. And I still want to continue traveling and creating and putting my shirts on more models and still waking up and shining, even though it's foggy as fuck right now. Can you believe this? Foggy Finland. That's what I should have called this, you know? But all of us have a signal. All of us have a program that we send out and said, hey, you know, this is who I am. Maybe we're signaling. Look at all these planes coming by. With our clothing. Maybe we're signaling with our message, you know? And quite possibly, we're telling the lies that we want other people to believe, instead of the actuality that we are poisonous or toxic. The mushroom is lying. It looks like it's edible, but it's not. There's so much of our lives that are mixed that we forgot who we really are, you know? We have an avatar, or if you will, from Carl Jung, what did he call it? An archetype. That we say we're this way, and we want people to believe it every day. You know, we want to wear it as if we're wearing our clothing, or we want to explore it as if we know it intimately, and we don't. We signal it. Morning. Too cute. You know, we make dogs on shirts, right? I work here at Pinacopa.
Okay.
We make dogs on shirts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we print dog shirts. So every time I see somebody walking with a dog, I tell them.
Okay, I know Yoni.
You know Yoni,
Yes.
and you know we can make mugs too.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, good morning. Yeah. And it's this kind of signaling that we do all the time. We signal everybody, she's cute, that we got our shit together, or that we're as balanced as we like to be or pretend to be. And the truth is things are going to throw you off your balance, not only in the morning, but usually in the nighttime. The patterns are continuous. They go from morning, our routine. Gotta like me smoking. And then comes the evening, kind of like my sugar cravings. I knew my addictions well enough to sit there long enough to not be confused by my boredom, to not run to another stimulus, and not to run from my thoughts that were inside of me, right? These things were plaguing me. It was like, I'm trying to do my best to be a good human being. Why are these things happening to me? Why do I end up in prison? How did I have these addictions? Why? What about my personality is ruining my relationships? It's a deeper conversation. And I think a lot of people will blame their ex. They'd love to put it on somebody else and say it's because of them, you know? He's a narcissist. Lo and behold, we date narcissists because we are narcissists, right? Somebody that can give us a buzz, somebody that can give us a reinforcement, somebody that can reflect our ego back to us. We would be the first person to say, this is the type of person that can elevate me, right? She was in such belief that she was going to marry this guy, and he was in such addiction that it was all covered up inside, right? Like, she had no idea that he could inject himself in his own dick. How did you not find out about this? What part of your daddy issues made you get with somebody that isn't that stable, you know? And she was so about it. It's like all the posts, all the pictures. Even I think they hopped into a relationship real quick, and then the next minute is to defame him or demoralize him out into the world and show everybody that she picked the wrong guy, right? She's the one that had it in her life. She's the one that has to pick up her dog shit even if she's cute, you know? We all got to pick up dog shit. We all got to take shits. Hell, life is probably shit on you, you know? Unless you're in Dubai and getting paid to be a model. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many things that we like to lie about. I was watching one girl go into the guy and she was like, don't worry, it's my friend, I promise I'm not gonna drink, I love you. Oh, it's just my friend, we're gonna go in the Diplo concert. Oh shit, I got fucked by Diplo and I didn't mean to, and I started to drink. The lie was that I love you, you know, because if you loved him you would stay with him. Next thing you know, you're going into territory that'll get you, you know, drunk and fucked by a world famous DJ, so that way you can get some validation. You know, we pretend to be part of a family. Got one chick like, I'm this many years sober, right? But she's still addicted to attention, and therefore she's setting all sorts of thirst traps that other people can fall for. And that's why it's called a trap, because there's like a trap house. You end up becoming hanging around people that just do drugs, keep you loaded, and don't want to see you even better, right? They don't care if you're better. I remember one girl asked me, she's like, what do I get for posting your shirt? And I said, well, I'm out the shipping, and all I get is a couple pictures. Even if you do send that, the signal is, who did you get? Who paid you when you went to the store and bought a shirt? Yep, lots of planes taking off right now. When you bought the shirt, did they pay you to advertise it? No, you did it for free. But as soon as a up and coming brand creator wants you to model for me, it's on how much can I make? And I'm like, well, how much did they pay you at Forever 21? Nothing. You just did your try-on haul and showed it off. The point is that when you're sending out those signals, the real sentence or finishing the sentences is like, I want attention, or I want to be popular, or if I have enough followers, then I will be powerful. Instead of saying, I am powerful on my own, I don't need to set a thirst trap. It's a reason I don't do thumbnails where I'm like, and get you to fucking click on it, you know? There's a reason why, I don't have 10,000 followers yet, is because I haven't sold out to make sure that I got on other people's podcasts and pretend that I'm a psychologist like Zadea Khan only for her to look at it. And she was like, what are these pictures that are leaked? Let me see so I can track it down. No, you wanted to see so you could protect your ego and your fake ID. Let me see that master's copy. You got a master's in psychology. You'd be the first thing you would lead. I went to school, and this is where I went to school, and this was what was happening. You're not going to say any of those things. You know what I mean? You're going to be like, oh, all of a sudden that didn't make it to the paperwork, right? Don't background check me like my ex-girlfriend's family when all I had was parking tickets. You know what I mean? There's so many people that pretend to be happy when they're really just trying to signal the happiness instead of just being happy. If I'm truly happy, I wouldn't even need to post about it, right? And if I really don't care who's watching it, it definitely doesn't make it to the gram. And if I'm really centered around myself, right, it wouldn't matter what anybody else thought or did or reacted. But instead, we're more curious creatures. We're more competitive than that. And we're also more envious than we like to pretend. We'll see somebody else's life and then vicariously watch those videos, look at them going on travels, look at them living their best life, or whatever they're signaling to us is their best and blessed life. And at the same time, we'll sit there and wonder why our life isn't like what we're witnessing or watching. The reason it's not like that is because we're not living our truth, right? If you're living your truth, like these are really poisonous, right? You don't act the way that you do. You won't have to act at all. You get to be. And that's one of the fundamentals of actually being confident or actually being rich, realizing I create happiness, or actually being balanced. It's not something that you signal to somebody. It's something that you live, and if you live your words, if you live by your actions, and you are consistent with your discipline, then the signals happen automatically. That guy's obviously been working out. That girl's obviously on her glow up. Him or her are working on something. And like I said, 17 years of working on this. I've been saying 15 years being sober, but 17 years of just sitting there and talking about shirts and making designs and making my life. I finally get to develop something like this that makes me happy. There he is. I'm gonna roll up on him. And not because I want people to think that I'm happy, it's because I'm actually happy, I'm waking up drowsy and kind of tired in the morning, but my happiness is my own. Nobody can take it away from me. I'm on the glow up, and there's nothing to do but to follow up. See? Count it.
Day number 6.
Count it. Well, the other day was number 7, but you're missing the count, bro,
No, you had number 7. I said it was 5.
Yeah, you can't count. That's what's happening, you know what I mean? But hey, I left the door cracked. It's right there. So I don't have to, I'll be right in. I got another 10 minutes on my live, and then I'll be inside.
Yeah.
So, it's this kind of, where do we rise? Where do we shine? Where do we hide, and where are we not? And what about our lives? Good morning. It's something that has to be shown to the world, I get on my live because I stay consistent on everything that I do. I said that I would, and I did, and that's part of the blessing, is to be able to continue on a path. And I was talking about it the other day. That's awesome. Hey, when do you do? When are you gonna have your baby?
8th of March.
It's coming soon. You're almost there, yeah. Get him. That's so cool. She got her baby. Dogs on shirts, babies on shirts, and that's something you can't hide, like being pregnant or being fat and or being lazy. I guess you can hide being lazy, but it's not the same as being real. Really showing up, really getting your workouts, really getting that half-hour walk, that 15 minutes of sunshine, the blessings that come with living a full life. Why would you want to hide it when you can highlight it inside yourself? The light comes from within. We are light in human form, but we want to pretend that we are blameless, but then we'll live in victimhood, and then we'll be free, but we still bow down to some form of slavery, or that we're enlightened when really all we did was take a picture of the page in the book. It's like applying knowledge. If you really have it, you apply it. It's just like going to school, or going to university. It's not that you just go to the school, it's that you actually learn what's happening. My buddy's going and doing chemistry, and he stopped smoking weed because he's like, I can't remember anything. He gets to go back to school because the government will pay him to go to school instead of going back to work, which actually end up hurting his foot. So there's so many things that I see people doing. They're making wild decisions. They're acting certain ways, even though it's not their way, or the way, or the Tao, if you will, the Taoism. It's the way. And most of us, we hide that way, right? We hide away in different realities, and different clothings, and different jobs, and different actions, and we wonder why our reactions are the way that they are, or our lives aren't as full as we like them to be, or we're not as happy as we actually can be. It depends on what reality you're living in. If you're living in some kind of dystopia where you just have to put on the makeup and then you feel pretty, or only when you have money are you happy, or you get off on someone else being jealous instead of actually being secure. These are things that are all virtual signaling, fake energy, and not based in reality. The real thing was to actually do what you say you're going to do. That's what the one guy was saying. It's the ultimate key. It's not the promises. It's not the early mornings and I'm up at 6 a.m. doing 600 push-ups, or I read 600 verses of the Bible, but I still have a temper, and we're the perfect family, but we're always yelling. You know what I mean? These things are just the cover up, to cover up what's inside, instead of the expose or the exposing of fake pride, or fake ego, or fake happy. You can actually have these things, and then it wouldn't matter if anybody else knows, because it's inside you. And what you grow on the inside will come out on the outside. It can't be killed. It can only be transferred, just like energy. We can't kill energy, we can only transfer it. I talked about this before, but it was so fascinating to me that I was like, wow, all the fire in the sun's energy is captured in the trees, right? And when we go to burn these, right, when we go to burn them, they come back out in flames. The energy wasn't killed. It came across space through UV rays, grew up into a tree, and then was light after being dried. It can be a flame, just like it first started. That's what I think of energy, When it comes from a real place, it can't help but come out to be real. If you're coming from the fake, the virtue signaling, the I want other people to believe, does it matter that they believe or that you believe? That's the power, is your belief. It's not the external world, or the external world, or hoping that other people are convinced. Are you convinced? Are you convinced that you can make yourself happy? Are you convinced that you can push yourself beyond your comfort zone? Are you convinced that you can have confidence? That's the biggest question. It's not if I believe it, right? It's not if your best friend believes it or your family believes it, but can you believe in it? Can you believe in yourself enough to make something develop outside of yourself? Like you grew it inside yourself as a belief, and then it came out as a dream. It was a whisper in between your ears, the mustard seed that breaks mountains, and then it becomes a lighthouse of just information and design and creativity. This is where I want to be. I want to be in these positions where anything is possible, that I'm possible is inside of impossible, that I broke the odds, I broke the mold, I broke my patterns so that I can come up with a different cycle of my life where I can be happy with the way that things are, instead of sitting there and wishing that they were. So while you're watching someone else live, ask yourself, why am I not living? I know it's entertaining to just drown out and just forget things, but it's even better question is like, why am I not living these things? Why are you watching pornography instead of masturbating? You could actually be having sex. It's one of the challenges that I give guys, and I talk about this on my mix, but it's true, that you could be the type of person that actually has sex, call a girl, be scared, take her out on a date, risk some of it, so that way it's your reality instead of watching someone else's fantasy. That you actually learned something from the school and it became a vocation instead of a degree. Or that you really go when it's time to do something instead of keep sitting there doom scrolling and wasting your own personal time. They're not going to tell you that. No one is on YouTube's like, get off this motherfucker, go outside, go for walks, get some fresh air, stretch yourself out. That's what it's about. Not stress yourself out, not compare yourself to other people. That's going to be, comparison is the thief of joy. It just steals away from the precious time that we have now to actually do the things instead of watch the things. And actually show over tell, and actually work over wish. And these have been a couple of my shirts, but while most people are just pondering, they're not doing. And if they waste their time, then nothing will happen. There has to be a catalyst. There has to be some chemistry. There has to be a sprinkle of your ingenuity, your determination, and your follow through to see anything to come through. Now, I have my dreams, being a worldwide brand, traveling the world, being super successful. That's my dream, but I also have my downfalls, broken relationships, addictions, and my anger was also, my weakness. We have our strengths, we have our weaknesses, we have our yins, we have our yangs. The job of us and the Tao or the Tao or anybody else that wants to follow a path or the way is to find ourselves. You have your whole life. I'm going to go find myself. Is that not the purpose of life? Like the girl was saying, she's like, that is your purpose of life. You need your whole lifespan to find yourself. So it's not a destination, it's a journey. And everybody's on this journey to go deeper into their reality, to make it come into a real world, really tangible, grabbable item that you can say, this is it. This is my quan. This is my energy, my chi. You know what I mean? And it's developed, it's built, and it's there. It's just a matter of you wanting to bring it out. It's like a seed. Everything that the seed that is needed is inside the seed. The DNA, the mitochondria, even the fuel. As long as there's a little water, space, and soil for a seed to be planted, all of a sudden enough light will grow that tree. And I've seen it split literally, and especially here in Finland with the rocks, split rocks completely open, and you're just like, God damn. But that's what steady looks like. That's what consistency looks like, and that's what strength looks like. It's not like it made a loud sound like lightning, No, it slowly, every day kept putting in the work, growing those fibers, making themselves strong, and then guess what came out? A split rock and a tree in the middle. So you can be the rock that sits there and does nothing, or you can be the tree that splits the rocks and grows. The choice is really up to you. I talk about it every morning. Are you going to wear your halo, or are you going to wear your horns? And that's this morning's marijuana motivation. If you got anything out of this, you already know. Like, share, and subscribe below. But as always, peace and love. And Chigathon. That means goodbye, but not forever in Finnish. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, and subscribe. But the other side of your fear. The other side of your excuses, and the other side of the world, because that's where I'll be. Peace. We're straight fogging here in Finland. It's amazing. I'm whited out. I'll check you later. Peace.